Employment. I have a job, and because I have a job, I can't watch every single anime that drops every single season. So today, I went back and I watched one episode of a couple animes that I either thought would be interesting to watch or that I thought would be cool. My dear friend Nokotan. Imagine you took a really quirky girl and put antlers on her. And then imagine you took one of those girls who thinks she's a thug and then wanted her to abandon her thugness, and they ended up being lesbians. I think this show has a lot of potential to be good, but it leans too heavily on her being a deer and deer jokes for any of the comedy to really like come through. I just think that her being a deer and all these deer jokes gets pretty stale pretty fast. And at first it was a little funny. After a while it just wasn't funny anymore. And I know comedy is subjective. I just subjectively didn't find a lot of jokes in the show funny, but there were some good ones in there. They kept calling the thug a virgin. I thought that was pretty cool. That's pretty up my alley.
Virginity confirmed.
They were using her being a deer as a punchline at least 10 times in the show. In one 20-minute episode, that's at least once every 2 minutes you got to hear how she's a deer. And at first it was funny. It was funny, bro, don't get me wrong. But after it came again and again and again, I just got a little tired of it. But I really didn't hate it. So it goes in C tier. Alaya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. So the first scene of the show, there's this weird, freaky guy who asks for the main love interest number, and then she rejects him, and she really rejects him. She is supposed to be just like a mega, like she's just supposed to be like a super bitch throughout the whole show. When I was watching the first episode, I was writing down notes, and in my notes I wrote, she is a bitch, and then 2 lines down, she is a mega bitch. I actually kind of like that because it adds some real entertainment value to the show. It's crazy because she's just this overwhelming force, and then the main character is I guess like an immovable object because he is a turbo virgin. Like the first words that the main character speaks is about him staying up all night watching anime and then calling up his bro to talk about the anime episode for 2 more hours.
Virginity confirmed.
The main character is supposed to be like us, you know. I'm 16 years old. I still go to high school. I got girls crushing on me all the time, you know. After I stay up all night watching anime, not paying attention in class. Also, in the first 5 minutes of the show, because bro stayed up all night, he's sleepy, right? So he starts falling asleep during class. So she takes her pencil and she jabs him with it like in his side. So his arm shoots up apparently. And then the teacher calls on him, and because she is such a bitch, she points to the textbook to give him an answer, and then bro's like, she's trying to throw me a bone. And then he reads it out loud and it's wrong, and then the teacher calls on her, and then she says the right answer. So it's not even like she didn't know what the answer was. She was just purposely being a bitch for no reason at all. The main gag of the show is that she speaks Russian, and bro learned Russian to talk to some little girl when he was little or something, and apparently he still remembers it pretty well. And every time she says something about him in Russian, it's like, oh, I want to eat your butt or something, and then he'll be like, ugh, she wants to do what to me? I better be quiet because she'll be so embarrassed if she knows that I can understand her. But I'm not even gonna lie, like, I honestly don't find that bad. The entertainment value that I get from this show is honestly, like, I was surprised. I thought this was gonna be ass, but it was honestly pretty entertaining, and I enjoyed watching it. A lot of things happened in the first episode that add up and make it really entertaining for me personally, because this isn't really my kind of thing. You know, I like romance stuff, but I think romance animes are just like really bad. I think a lot of the time they just don't get to the point and they just drag it out for so long. Some things that were really funny was the foot scene, which I'm not even gonna explain. I think you should just watch the foot scene. Even if you don't want to watch the show, I think you should just watch the foot scene. And honestly, like, it was pretty good. But yeah, overall, I actually kind of enjoyed this. Even though it's really not my thing personally, if I was ever in a mood to watch like a romance anime that I haven't watched before, I would probably watch this one. I'm gonna put this in B tier. It was pretty alright. Actually, yeah, it was pretty good. The next anime is this anime with this super long ass name that I'm not even gonna try to say it all.
Chilling in another world.
This was a pretty boring isekai. You know, it's just a typical I'm in another world. Oh, everybody hates me, but I'm really overpowered. And now I have a harem of a bunch of bad bitches. And only I can save the world? What? Okay, so like the main character is a super nice guy. We know that because he was not being racist in the first scene. They're like, oh, you can't pay the demi-humans? Who is this guy? And then he paid him. And then they were like, oh, I can't believe this guy. And then like right after that scene, they immediately summon bro to the other world that is pretty much like his world. So I don't even understand the point of why they even made the show. Like, why would you summon a guy from a world that he was pretty much already from? That makes no sense at all. And then when they summoned him, they're like, since I restarted your stats, God will give you a blessing and he will make you super good. They looked at his stats and like, oh my God, this guy fucking sucks. Let's send him back. Oh, we can't send you back. Oh, you, I don't care. And then the other guy that they summoned at the exact same time, for whatever reason, they just summoned two guys together. I don't know why. And then his stats were like super cracked. They're like, oh my God, you're so hot. Oh my God, all your stats are level 9999. Oh my God. So now they're like, all right, what are we gonna do with this guy? He sucks, you know? So they kick the main character out and they send him to this forest. And when they're dropping him off, the guy was like, the Dark Army is camping here. If you want to live, you should leave. And then he's like, why would you even drop me off here if you told me just to leave? And then, you know, like the normal isekai happens. Like, bro goes to a guild and he's like, I need to hide my face so no one knows I'm me. And then he hides his face. Or like he changes into a girl, gets turned on, and then is like, no, this is not a time for that. And then changes into a character who looks exactly like him. He has the ability to change every part about him, and he decides to turn into another person that looks exactly like him. So, you know, he goes to the guild and he gets his quest and all that. And then there's a little girl who needs help. So then he helps the little girl, and then they're like, ah, you must be a pervert. And he's like, no, I'm not a pervert. Come with me. You can see. And then they're like, oh my God, you can use magic. Oh my God, you're so cool. But right after that, they're like, I'm sorry to bring you into this. And he's like, what do you mean? Bring me into what? And then he's like, this little girl's really a demon. Oh no. And then he like saves all the other women. These are women, by the way. It's just all women. And then like a little girl. Then the little girl transforms into a demon. And then she transforms into a bad bitch, and then I'm assuming that she follows him around everywhere. She's probably his slave or something, because that's what these animes like to do. They're like, slavery's so bad, that's why I'm gonna buy a slave. I don't know why the little girl had to be a little girl and then turn into a bad bitch. That makes no sense to me. Why couldn't she just be a bad bitch from the start? It was pretty boring for the most part. If you want to watch some generic isekai, I feel like there's better stuff than this, but it wasn't the worst. I'm putting this in D. The next anime is Berserk of. No, I'm not even gonna lie to you. This show was so boring. I was like immediately about to fall asleep. In my notes I put, this would be something I would put on to go to sleep. Basic as just take the last anime and make it worse. I'm putting this in F tier. This anime sucks. If you like this anime, I'm sorry. Not really though. This is kind of trash. The next anime is A Bartender, A Glass of God. I really like the opening song in this one. The opening song was pretty good. Some notable moments is that the main guy is dumb as hell, except for when it comes to alcohol, like a real man. So basically, these two girls are looking for a bartender, but their boss is like, no, the bartender has to be amazing at his job. He can't just be a da-da-da-da-da. And this is for a hotel, by the way. This isn't for like a fancy restaurant or like an actual bar. This is for a hotel bar. And he's like, I need the glass of God. And you would only search for the glass of God if you're an alcoholic. I'm sorry. Like, I just feel like that boss has a drinking problem. So the main guy is basically like a superhero, and his superpower is he can look at people and tell what drink they would want, you know? And I feel like I can do the exact same thing, you know? I can look at this guy right here, and see that he clearly wants a Bud Light, you know? I can look at this guy, and this guy, he wants some Hennessy. And I can look at this guy and just tell that he would be happy with any drink. He really doesn't care that much. If you like this anime, then I feel like that's valid. I just really don't feel like it was for me. I feel like it was a little slow. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. But for the first episode, I'm gonna have to just put that right in C tier, right next to the Deer Show. It's definitely better than the Deer Show, though. I'll say that. Now, the last anime that I watched was The Elusive Samurai, and this was by far the best anime that I watched today. I don't even want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil anything. I will definitely be finishing this. The animation was honestly so good. I don't know why I didn't hear about this show or see anything about it until today, but it has like military politics and samurai and stuff like that, and yeah, it was pretty cool. S tier. Anyways, that was the video. I know it's ass. Don't say it's ass. You're gonna hurt my feelings. Make sure you support me emotionally and physically any ways that you possibly can. Like the video. If you don't like the video, I don't like you. Subscribe, please. I need it.